and the bond yield sagged ahead of inflation data that could pave way for rate cuts in the United States and Europe. While Wall Street braced for earnings from AI dull Nvidia, Europe's broad stock 600 index was flat in early trading, while MSCI's broadest index of Asian Pacific shares added 0.5%. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq futures were both slightly lower in slow trade. UK markets were closed for a holiday. Nvidia stocks is up 150%, accounting for around a quarter of the S&P 500 17% gain. In mixed Asian markets, Japan was notable underperformer, with the Nikkei closing 0.66% lower as a stronger yen pressured exporter stocks. The United States National Aeronautics and Space Administration says 2 astronauts who went up to the International Space Station in Boeing streamline set to come home on a different spacecraft by next year. NASA's administrator, Mr. Bill Nelson, said astronauts Barry Wilmore and Cynthia Williams, who performed the first crewed test flight of Starliner, would return in February 2025 on the SpaceX Crew 9. The pair took off on what was planned to be an 8-day mission on June 5, but will now spend around 8 months in the orbit. Boeing and SpaceX were both awarded billion-dollar contracts by NASA to provide commercial space flights for its astronauts.
NASA has decided that Butch and Sonny will return with Crew 9 next February, and that Starliner will return uncrewed, and the specifics and the schedule will be discussed momentarily. I want you to know that Boeing has worked very hard with NASA to get the necessary data to make this decision. We want to further understand the root causes and understand the design improvements so that the Boeing Starliner will serve as an important part of our assured crew access to the ISS. I have just talked to the new Boeing CEO, Kelly Ortberg. I have expressed this to him.
The Dutch data protection watchdog says ride-hailing platform Uber has been fined €290 million, which is about $324 million in the Netherlands, for sending the personal data of European taxi drivers to the United States in violation of the EU rules. The regulator said the transfers were a serious violation of the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, as they failed to protect drivers' information. The chairman of the Dutch Data Protection Authority, Mr. Alan Wolfson, in a statement said the e-hailing service provider did not meet the requirements of the GDPR to ensure the level of protection to the data concerning transfers to the US. DPA said Uber collected sensitive information of European drivers, including taxi licenses, location data, photos, payment details, identity documents, and in some cases, even the criminal and medical data of drivers. Uber spokesperson Mr. Kapsa Nixon says the company would appeal the fine.